welcome back to the Fat Man Gaming Podcast. It's been a long, long while, longer than me and Nathan would have definitely liked it to be. But we got some good stuff to talk about since we have been on a long hiatus. Of course, I am the Fat Man here at the Fat Man Gaming Podcast, and down below, my partner in crime, Sir Nathan.
Howdy.
So yeah, we
Good to
got
be
to
back.
yes, for sure. Definitely gonna try to definitely be more consistent, guys. I know it's been chaotic, but we're definitely going to try to be more consistent because I really do miss doing this. Um,
Same. I miss it too. Not gonna lie.
but getting
But
right
hey, we're
into
back.
it,
Let's go.
guys. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. We're just going to get right into it. Um, we'll start with the state of Xbox and where it's at right now. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened since we've been on, a lot of stuff, and there's just something that I wanted to talk about. So, first thing that happened, Uncle Phil Spencer, he's out. No more part of Xbox. They say he retired. The likelihood is he got fired. Um, they
I
took
bet that.
over with Asha Schwarman or Sharma. Yeah, Asha Sharma is
Yeah.
now the new CEO of Xbox, and so far not doing too bad of a job. Now, the first thing that she did was, well, she's done a couple of things already, but the first thing she did, she was lowered the price of Game Pass. So all of you Game Pass users, including me, 22.99 is the new price, dropped from 30. So great move in the right direction. So the next thing she's talking about doing is whether or not to make console games exclusive to Xbox again. So, their games and all that. Now here's where I defer. I don't think, being that the state of the Xbox is in, I don't think they should go back to exclusivity. Maybe 6 months to a year at a time, but I think they should just keep putting their games everywhere and cashing those checks from Nintendo and PlayStation. Plus, they've already made the commitment with Halo, Fable, and a couple other games already coming. I don't think Xbox having I don't think Xbox being exclusive is going to help move their boxes, considering their boxes sold less than 2 million units, from what I'm hearing. Maybe, or actually, I think it's somewhere in the 30s now. I believe. I think I read those numbers wrong. I have to look. But when no, it might be. Hang on one sec. Let's do this. Let's get the facts straight. How
Uh,
many Xbox Series X and S's has Microsoft sold compared to the PlayStation 5?
32, 35 million.
Yeah, so 21, so yeah, so it's saying that it's more closer to 21 million units between the two, and considerably different considering the PlayStation 5 has sold 45 million across three different specs. Um, so I not looking too good as far as console sales now. Now the other thing they did was announce Project Helix, which is the next Xbox PC hybrid thing, whatever, right?
Yeah. Mm.
Are you gonna get one?
Oh, honestly, honestly, my main problem is that there's just no real reason to buy an Xbox. Like, my main thing is the only reason I would get an Xbox specifically is for game exclusivity if I actually care about the games enough.
Right,
Unfortunately, that hasn't been really Xbox's strong suits in since the 360.
right.
And
Now that's
unfortunately, the market has responded as such. You know what I mean?
yeah. Now that's the other thing too, is like if there was a game that was super demanding that I had to have on Xbox that I couldn't get on PlayStation, then maybe I would get a Project Helix. But let's also remember Steam's going to be on the next Xbox.
Yeah.
So I've already dedicated myself to the GameCube. So why do I need an Xbox if I have that?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's you're getting kind of the same thing, except it's just a different coat of paint. You know what I mean? It's just like, do
Right.
you want Pokemon White or Pokemon Black? It's like it's like you might have slight differences here, but more or less you're playing the same thing.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, if I'm Xbox, if I'm in charge, what I'm doing is I'm keeping everything third party. I'm launching same day and date PlayStation 5, Xbox, because at this point, you're just a third party developer that has hardware. which is what Sega ended up being towards the end of their lifetime. Now, I'm not saying Xbox is going anywhere because obviously we need Xbox. I want Xbox to be strong. I don't care
Mhm.
about their hardware though, because without Xbox, PlayStation runs rampant and they become the dominant force and they start lacking on their games, which we can't afford. And honestly, it's happened this generation is why and the other reason is why we have several different iterations of The Last of Us and several different iterations of Horizon. And I don't care about those games. The Last of Us, yes, I do. I absolutely love Horizon. I could care nothing about. It's
That's fair.
okay, but it's not a great game, and I don't need 20 different versions of it. Considering they have that new Battle Royale version coming out, which to be fair, looks kind of cool. I might check it out. But without Xbox, PlayStation runs rampant. Now, obviously, you could throw Nintendo in there, but Nintendo does their own thing and they live in their own world. And like you and I have both said, when gaming is done, whenever it comes to a final end and we put the nails in the coffin, Nintendo will be the last one standing.
Yeah. Because they're the most stubborn and they have, quite frankly, enough staying power to keep themselves afloat for probably longer than they should be.
Yeah. And well, and
I
then
mean,
and
they
their
have Mario, they
investments.
have Zelda, they have so many IPs that it's just like, yeah, you're not going to get this anywhere else unless
Yeah.
you don't pay for it. But
And they have investments in movies now and all this stuff. Like we know, so Mario Galaxy 2, the critics were so rough on it. They were giving it low scores. And guess what? It superseded all of that and is a dominant force out there right now. And then we have the question mark being next year we get the Legend of Zelda movie live action. Is Link gonna talk or is he not gonna talk? That's whatever. But there's so many generations of Zelda fans that start from the beginning to now, and you know that that movie's going to make hella money, whether it's good or not, because it's the Legend of Zelda. So they're going to have that. Then they have Super Mario Land, and it's just yeah, Nintendo is the dominant force in gaming, no matter what we do. Um, Xbox honestly is so they went in the right direction with lowering Game Pass. I resubscribed because they lowered it. It was perfect because I have
how
my
much
Series
how, mu-
X
how much
sitting
did
right
they
here.
lower it to?
So it's 22.99 now, and it
That's
was
not bad.
twenty nine
That's
ninety
fine.
nine. So yeah, it's a decent drop. It's really
That's
good.
that's that's a reasonable drop. It's
Now,
not like like if it was like the full 1999, be like, ooh, but
yeah,
it's 23
the,
bucks is not that bad.
I would have been better off with the 1999 again for sure. Now here's the catch though.
A
In order to
20% drop is still pretty good.
yeah, in order to lower that down to do this price drop, they had to get rid of something. And then what did they get rid of? They got rid of Call of Duty. So Call of Duty is no more day one for Game Pass, which is perfect because it didn't need to be. And Call of Duty doesn't sell on Xbox. So you're
Yeah.
making most of your revenue from PlayStation gamers and eventually the Switch 2 people. Now,
And oh no, God forbid the sweaty people pay for their game.
right. And see, that's the other problem with Xbox. Now, if I'm the person running Xbox, I'm saying, hey, we're reverting back. We're going back to what was it? We're going back to Xbox Live. We're doing Xbox Live games with gold and all that. No more Game Pass. No more day ones. No more this, and this. You have if they want to do this, if they really want to succeed and bring their console back to the limelight, they got to get rid of Game Pass. And how
Yeah.
do you do that? You train your audience to buy games because that's what their audience is. Their audience has been trained to not buy games because of Game Pass. Now, granted, I love Game Pass. It is the best deal in gaming, hands down. Um,
It's just if you actually want to make
but
money by in the console market, you kind of have to.
right. And considering Xbox owns a mass majority of the top tier developers that aren't PlayStation or Nintendo, and you're cannibalizing yourself by putting on Game Pass, yeah, you're better off putting your games on the other console, so at least you can cash those checks.
Yeah, at most it's like it's a good gesture to gamers. At worst, it's almost a borderline a humiliation ritual to have all these
Right,
things.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No, I I hope that Xbox does. I want Xbox to do well. I really do. It's just I
me too.
sometimes think that Xbox doesn't want to do well itself sometimes either. But
Yeah. Well, I'll give
it's
her.
also it's hard to play the market too. I'll
Yeah,
admit it. It's hard.
and I'll give the new CEO. She's really good. Like, so she came from AI development or whatever, and she's kind of like whatever right now. But so far, not too bad. Actually got a response from her on Twitter to something that I tweeted out, which was actually pretty cool. She's definitely in tune with the audience.
Which
Um,
good, thank God. Like I'm glad that we like in a world where I feel like nobody actually listens to their audience anymore. Glad we actually have like that, especially
yeah.
like coming from Microsoft. It's like, oh, do we actually have like a hope to get things kind of back to the way things were?
Now,
Maybe.
if she wants my full support, Asha, if you ever see this and you think you need an idea, reactivate Scalebound. Give us Scalebound. That game looked like it was going to be incredible. It was Panzer Dragoon meets Devil May Cry, and a lot of people actually really do want to see that game come to fruition.
Made by Platinum. It was going to be a banger.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's our piece on the state of Xbox right now. I mean, Nathan, do you have anything else that you want to add to it before we move on?
Not really. I just it's kind of just kind of sad, really. Like just I think about like all my like a buddy of mine who like he was an Xbox guy for literally ever since the 360 generation, ever since his friends bullied him into playing Halo. Um, sorry.
Yeah.
Um, but
Give me
he's been an
one
Xbox
sec.
ever since.
I need
He
to go get my charger real quick. Give me one
yeah,
sec.
no worries. No, but
Go ahead and take over for me.
yeah, no, but he switched to PlayStation because just like the games clearly were like there was more exclusives on the PlayStation as far as I could tell from like his justification. Also, the fact that he got a Steam Deck and was able to just buy most Xbox games just on PC as well. I think Xbox might have kind of screwed themselves over, spreading themselves a little too thin, in my personal opinion. They kind of just it's too much of a wide net, and unfortunately, like I think just the amount of people that actually wound up showing up for it just didn't really work out, and it's unfortunate because like I mean, like there are a couple Xbox exclusives that I wouldn't mind like getting an Xbox, although now most of them are on PS5, and that's probably the problem. Like if they would have like held up on like I'm not saying I would have bought an Xbox Series X for like Hellblade, for example, Hellblade 2, but it would have been one of those things where it's like, damn, I really wish I would have bought an Xbox. I would have got that game, but now I can play it on PlayStation. That's fine. So I don't know. I want Xbox to succeed, but that kind of requires them to basically be their own corner of the market rather than trying to play nice with everyone else. Like Sega is able to play nicely with the rest of the market because they have a gambling company backing them up.
Yeah.
I guess Microsoft can do that too, but it's just way more embarrassing when they keep doing it, and we all just notice it, and we're like, dude, you don't have to keep doing this. It's like if Sega was still trying to make a console now. It's like,
That would be
dog, we're
cool.
it would be cool, but I can almost guarantee you if it didn't have any like great exclusives and was just basically the Xbox but Japanese, it's just it'd be
Yeah.
like kind of equally just as like, come on, bro. We wanted more out of you, and we kind of wish we would like you, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like you like yourself much either. So, yeah.
Well, that's our piece on Xbox State of Xbox. And we'll have more the more that news comes out. I mean, summer's coming, so there's going to be conferences happening. And obviously, when the conferences start happening, we'll definitely be either rewatching those with you guys or going over what we saw and all that stuff. So you know how we do it
I
here.
will say, Xbox always does have like interesting showcases. I will
Their
give them that.
showcases, yeah, I'll give them that. Now, granted, the last one that they just did recently was garbage. It was so garbage that I didn't even want to talk about it, and I'm
Yeah,
not going to. But
yeah,
yeah,
I
it
didn't even
wasn't it.
I didn't even hear about it. I'm pretty sure that's how bad it
That's how
was.
bad it was. Yeah.
Damn, that's rough.
um, but yeah, so that's that. And then yeah, moving on. Our next topic is going to be on the new released multi-platform game from Capcom, Pragmata. There it is.
Cool. Actually, cool reversible cover that comes with any normal version of the game.
I
Appreciate
did
that
not.
whenever it happens.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I left my cover the same. So Nathan was kind enough to go out and grab it for me, and obviously he was paid back. But yeah, Nathan got us both a copy. We played it, started at the same time. I don't know how far he's into it. I'm thinking midway through it right now.
I'm about the same. Like, did you just get to the fourth area?
Yes.
I just literally got to the fourth area too.
Okay, so yeah, me too. So looks like we're exactly in the same spot. Now, before we get into the game, And we're not gonna get into spoiler stuff. We're just pretty much just give our opinions on it and stuff like that so far, because we haven't finished it. But before we get into it, I gotta shout some people out, and this isn't a good shout out. So this game is fantastic. It's one of Capcom's best. Now, another game that we're gonna be talking about later on in a full depth, Resident Evil 9, was my game of the year so far. Pragmata has very quickly moved into that spot. They're neck and neck right now. I have to finish it to see what I feel finally, but Daddy Leon, he's hanging on the edge real quick.
To be fair,
But
this just means this is a really good year for Capcom.
oh,
Either way.
absolutely, dude. Capcom is banger after banger recently. Now, if you see anything in this game other than a wholesome sci-fi action, for lack of better words, dad simulator, you got problems. And you're part of the problem. Now, there's a big controversy going on right now with Diana. Diana being the second protagonist in the game, cute little robot girl that you're adventuring with. People are complaining because she's wearing, I think, what is it? Basically just a jacket?
A jacket, but like she also has like frills underneath it. She's basically
Right.
wearing a dress.
It's basically like a jacket dress. It definitely covers her and all that. A lot of people are
Mhm.
complaining too because she is barefooted. Um,
Oh,
and I'll be honest with you, the entire time I've been playing this game, not once have I even thought of looking at her feet. So I don't know why people are doing that. Um, the other thing too is people apparently are trying, or some weirdos are out there trying to look in the camera and see. And I guess there was a big complaint that you couldn't see her underwear and all that. And it's like,
yeah,
yeah, and
I saw that.
yeah, and that took off into a whole thing of its own. Somebody actually getting banned because they talked about that, which just proved that he was a weirdo. But people who were actually out there complaining about this game being that they over sexualized a little tiny robot girl, you're the problem. Now, not once have Nathan and I looked at this little girl who's amazing in the game, by the way, and said, huh, no, never once. If you do and you're like, oh, well, they over sexual, you're the problem. That means you need to look in the mirror because you saw what other people are not seeing. So if you're playing this game and you're seeing anything pedo related, you're the problem. Now,
It's just self-report at that point.
yeah, you pretty much outed yourself. You need to go check yourself into some kind of help center because
Congratulations, you
yeah,
played yourself.
congratulations, you're part of the problem. You belong on a list. Uh,
Check the hard drive.
Um, so yeah, I just had to get that out of the way because you're sick. If you even look at her for a second and you see anything about her being over sexualized in there, you're not seeing just a great wholesome character who's freaking fantastic. She's even had me almost tear up a couple times because it's so wholesome. You
It's
are
it's
the
so
problem.
it's so cute, dude. Like
Yeah. It's if
what
anything, this game has made me so badly want a daughter, and I have four boys, so and we're done having kids, so it's no longer in the pool. But man, I really do see with this game with Hal having or is it Hugh?
Hugh Williams, yeah.
Yeah, Hugh interacting with her, her interacting with Hugh, and it's just like, man, that's what it's. And obviously, having boys is awesome too, but there's just so much more that you could do with a daughter that you can't with a son. And this game has really made me want to be like, man, I would have loved to have a daughter. Now I'm happy with my kids, of course, but yeah, I'm living the daughter experience through this game, and it's so wholesome. It's cute. It's freaking fantastic. She's got the X Buster, even though they won't admit it's the X Buster. But if and again, if you're out there and you see anything sexualized about this little girl, then you're the problem, and just don't even play it because you're part of the gaming industry that's gotten so far to the left that it's just sickening now, and I can't stand it at this point. The fact that people can find something to complain about in every freaking game now, it's just not fun anymore. And at this point, I've even debated whether or not I want to be part of this anymore because of that reason. But then I see games like this and Pragmata, and I'm like, well, first of all, Daddy Leon, I'm not going anywhere. And
Yep.
and and I see games with Pragmata developed with Hugh and Diana. I'm just like, man, this is awesome. This is why I'm here. And yes, there's a handful of weirdos in our industry, unfortunately. And unfortunately they did have their voices heard in this one, and it's sad. It's really sad, and I hate it. And I wish that all of you that are just freaking sick and weird like that would just go jump off a cliff because we don't need you, and we don't want you in this industry, and you're ruining it for us. And this is the reason why games get accused of being woke, because we do try to pander to the broader audience, which is fine. But when you do something like this, then you get the people who aren't satisfied that you didn't pander enough, and now all of a sudden we're the bad guys because, or the developers are the bad guys because they made her barefoot, a little girl barefoot, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, just seriously, go jump off a cliff, go do whatever you need to do to not exist anymore because we're sick of you, and I'm gonna stand by that. And if I if I get hit for it, or if you even try to cancel me, I don't care because I'll still be here whether you want to see me or not. And that's my piece on it. And anybody that sees their little girl other than anything being wholesome and fun, you're a pedo and get the fuck out of the industry.
I agree. No, and like overall, like so I'll say my piece. Like I don't have a kid. I don't. I I can see. I actually well before this game, I actually started having the urge of like, dude, I kind of want a kid, and like specifically, I kind of want a daughter. Like that'd be kind of nice. Like it really interesting. Like it just seems like a wholesome experience, and there's a special relationship that a dad develops with their daughter that's very much like the. It's like ultimate purpose in life. That is the I'm going to protect this little girl with my life, and anybody who even tries to hurt her, I will end them. That is a noble and that is a very honestly natural like reaction for a father to for someone to have, especially if they are a father. Like I saw that some people are like, oh well, you can't, like, if you don't have a kid, you can't really get that, you can't develop that at all, and you only develop it for your own biological ones if they're not yours. And like, okay, you're the problem here. This is the reason why there's no adoption happening these days anymore, you selfish bastard. um so and it's just this I mean, like, I feel like a lot of things now these days just has intentional counterculture or intentional contrarianism built into everything these days. It's like if something comes out, there's never going to be like this perfect consensus that everything's perfect. And unfortunately, weirdos on the internet exist. And especially for some reason, like, the Japanese games always attract the weirdos. Welcome to it.
Yeah.
Um, no, but like anybody who's actually just like genuinely like, oh, if you buy this game, that says more about you than anything. It's like, dude, I'm not antinatalist, I'm not fatherless, I'm not motherless, I'm not childless, terminally online, porn brained, aimless, purposeless, or ontologically suicidal like you are. So please shut up. Um, like
Agreed.
it's just it's frustrating because like we can't have an honest conversation about like the actual quality of the game. We have to have a conversation about like did they properly like did they properly like what's the word, like did they make a little girl not weird, or like did they properly do that? It's like I don't want to have to shut up. It's like, one, she's useful as hell in gameplay. Two, she's cute as hell in the story. Three, there's absolutely nothing of that nature in the game, period. So I
Yeah.
don't know why you're bringing it up. The whole idea is basically just a dude who at the very beginning of the game is like, hey, it's like, kids, I wouldn't want that. It seems like a hardship. And then eventually learns to grow to like this little AI child. And it's like, I feel like maybe it's because we're kind of, I mean, maybe over here in America, especially, we're kind of like, AI is like, or whatever. And it's like, we can't really understand the idea that AI can get so complicated to where they could actually maybe simulate human life as a whole. Because Star Ocean 3 is a similar thing where the AI life in that game is actually treated with like as much respect and civility as normal people, at least by the people who actually want to protect them. At least in that game specifically. So I guess that's maybe more of a thing that they have a better grasp on over here, on over there than we do over here. But
Right.
they're here or there. But like dude, it just like even now it's like I feel like he's softening. He wasn't like a gruff like Joel from The Last of Us, like kind
I
of
was just about to say that. Yeah.
It's like this is the most like optimistic a male character has been with while also still being kind of like a just like he's just a normal dude. What is it with people just liking normal dudes? I don't know. And then like she is just she I don't know, she just she's there, she helps you in an actual practical gameplay sense and like she is not a she's not a liability like you know in other escort mission games or whatever. It actually just feels like you're just it feels just like a regular action game, but she's actually more helpful than you are.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a great game. I just think that the fact that we have to have this conversation is really just going to show that we have a problem with how people are being raised as a whole in this country because or well to be fair everywhere because parents just like is not parenthood is no longer considered a serious thing to be taken seriously by anybody. Even if you have a kid, it's just like, all right, well that now that's a massive inconvenience on your life, you know that, right? It's like shut up. Being a parent is like the true purpose of all our lives biologically speaking. We
Right.
are literally programmed to recreate ourselves. That is how we carry on as a species. If you don't, that is the end of your bloodline. Do you not understand this? And it's like, well, that's like I don't know. Anybody saying that's like kind of weird like natalist propaganda, it's like, shut up. You're just being dishonest. You want to avoid responsibility.
Yeah.
I don't know. Other than that, game's fun. Game's a lot of fun. Like the hacking mechanics really fun. Dude, so did you know that Diana's voiced by a black woman?
I did not. Hmm.
I heard that. I'm like, wait, what? And
That's
then
awesome.
I was like, and you want to know? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, because I couldn't tell. That is voice acting right there, my dude.
Yeah.
That is incredible. I was just like, dude, no, that sounded like an actual, like borderline an actual child. You can't do this to me right now.
I
That's just good. That's just good voice acting.
did you
Holy shit.
did you get the hopscotch scene yet?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay.
Is that like
It's
a do you need an
you'll
earth memory to get to that, or is it like just in the
it's just in
level
the
itself?
game. Yeah. You'll
Okay,
know
bet.
it's well, like one of the cutest things in the freaking game. Like she's so
Yeah.
adorable. um But yeah, and that's the other thing that people have said about the game too is that it's basically like a parent simulator. Like it makes you want to have kids, and I could see that for sure.
Yeah,
But
but, like a lot of people are just like it's dudes are just like I want a daughter, and
yeah,
then when women are like, ah, my ovaries are screaming at me.
but yeah,
I'm like,
it's
yeah,
great
fair, I
though.
get that.
The combat, the hacking, the upgrades. I love the upgrades in this game, especially the way that it makes the suit look later on. I was like, oh man,
Is that like a Dead Space suit? It borderline looks like Dead Space.
yeah,
I
a
I
little
wouldn't.
bit. There's one. Have you ever seen the Guyver?
No.
It's an old movie, Mark Hamill and all that. So essentially, it's
Oh,
like a
okay.
Super Sentai type movie where
Okay.
he gets like this super alien suit and he like transforms and all that. My suit's starting to look like that, and I'm freaking stoked about it. Um, but yeah, no, the game's great. Gameplay is awesome. The characters are freaking fantastic. I love Hugh. I love Diana. Um, even like the boss battles are insane. I'm just like, bro, what is going
Yeah,
on
there's
here? And the whole time
this is
you're,
a Capcom game through
yeah,
and through.
the
Great.
whole time you're thinking, man, she's just sitting on Hugh's back and everything's just exploding around him. They're running around. It's like, bro. But we really can't talk about it yet without getting into spoilers. So we want to give you guys a couple of more weeks to be able to do this. So once we're finished, I'm sure me and Nathan are going to want to talk about it more. But yeah, so far, my opinion, it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, yeah, I guess there's like a regular ending, and then you have to play through it again to get the true ending, which I'm gonna definitely do because
Oh, yeah.
it sounds like the second playthrough is just nice and quick. And there's places in the game I don't think you're able to get to until late game anyway. So it's
Right.
like you're gonna have like there's like the blue filament, and then there's
Yeah.
like the red filament. You can't access the red filament until I think later probably. I haven't been able to get it, so
No.
yeah, but yeah, game is fun as hell, especially after binging a shitload of Resident Evils like I have. Uh, I have played 5 Resident Evil games in the last like actually I think 4, but still, God, no 5. I've just played 5 Resident Evil games in the last month. After playing all that and getting to this, I'm just like I feel weirdly at home, but also at the same time, this is a cool mix up.
It's going
Like
to
it's really just a lot of fun. And apparently, like
Here,
the hair physics on
don't
Diana,
use my phone. Stay in the room.
um, that was actually like tech. That was like tech that they no, it was no Grace's hair in Resident Evil Requiem. They couldn't get it right, so they actually had to borrow some tech that they were working on for Pragmata for Resident Evil Requiem.
That's funny.
Because in the PS5 version and I think the Steam version of Pragmata, like the hair is like it moves independently. It's not like patches or whatever that like kind of move like like a texture. They actually move more or less like by themselves.
Here, Gabe.
And in Resident Evil Requiem, did you ever notice that Grace is hanging upside down, the hair also like falls like kind of naturally looking too.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked all
That hair,
scrungy and all that too.
yeah. I never noticed it, but I would have noticed it if it looked jank. It did not look jank, and I'm so happy about that because I never noticed it until somebody pointed it out. I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Well, so the other thing about the hair physics for that was that the PSSR 2.0 had came out at the time Requiem
Yeah.
came out. So we were getting that AI upgraded already too. Um, but yeah, guys, Pragmata, definitely check it out. It is a 10, it's a 10 out of 10 for me right now. Now, granted, I will update you when it's all said and done. But so far, it's a 10 out of 10. Highly recommend it. It's borderlining game of the year for me, but we still got Big Daddy Leon to talk about. Um,
Oh, shout out to Grace Safe, who's the English voice actress for Diana.
there we go.
Again, like you look at, you're like, okay, Diana, like borderline 6 to 8 year old child, and then you're like, oh, she's exactly none of that, but she sounds so on the nose. This is why
her
I'm like, dude,
her
I'm
voice is
glad that like
amazing.
she did incredible. This is why I'm like, dude, I'm so glad they hired for based off of like how's your performance rather than we got a
Yeah.
checklist we need to start checking off here, you know what I mean? It's like it's fantastic. Anyway, let us get on to the main event.
So the main topic for the night, guys, is going to be Resident Evil Requiem, aka Resident Evil 9. So
Let's go.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this so far is my game of the year. This game is great. Now, granted, we are get into spoiler territory here, so if you don't want to hear it or you haven't played the game yet, bounce out right now. Um,
It's
gonna
my
give you a
unless Pragmata like makes me cry from wholesomeness, which I think
yeah.
it might.
It's
Resident
for
Evil Requiem is my game of the year.
it's pushed that line a couple times already, but I'm gonna give
I
you
know,
to
and I'm really scared for the end. I'm like, oh no, if it's gonna go the wholesome route, like I think it's going to, I'm going to cry.
oh yeah.
Fuck.
I'm gonna give you all the chance to bounce out now. So I'm gonna start talking about the Resident Evil 9 in five,
Fantastic. Go
four,
play it. It's great.
3, 2, 1, spoilers. So we have both played and beaten Resident Evil probably a handful of times at this point now. Both have achieved infinite ammo, last I heard.
Yep.
Um,
I platinumed it, did the final puzzle. I'm done with it until the DLC
yep.
or
So
mercenaries.
this game is hands down the best Resident Evil game that's ever been made. Now, granted, 2 and 3, we're not counting the original ones because they're in a league of their own. They'll always have a prestige and they belong in their own category. No, we're talking about the remakes. Now, Resident Evil 4 remake to me was hands down the best Resident Evil made so far. 9 came out, beat it up, ate its lunch, and then stole its lunch money after it had already done that. Now, the game starts off just incredible. And now, granted, I'm gonna be honest, we had talked about it before. I wanted to hate Grace. I absolutely wanted to hate Grace. I fell in love with Grace. I thought she
He's
was
great.
I thought just as much in she was just as much as important in this game as Leon was. The game starts off and you're Grace, you're kind of a bumbling FBI agent, really kind of a rookie to the field. No combat training at all whatsoever, it seems like. And you get thrown into this investigation at a hotel that apparently your mother was murdered at, and you're going back to the hotel and you see Grace's resistance to that just because it does hold a very traumatic incident in her past. But being that she doesn't have a choice, she goes down there and starts doing the investigating and immediately runs into trouble. Um, she is basically locked in and cornered and basically made to solve some stuff in there and remember her past. Um, Now the game starts you off and you first meet the very ugly, very well voice acted. I was getting Joker vibes from him right out the gate. Dr. Victor Gideon. Um, Gideon is a old partner to William E. Spencer, who everybody knows is the creator of Umbrella and the viruses and all that stuff. Um, some shenanigans ensue, and then the first part, you go and you figure everything out. You're getting ready to leave this place, and you end up coming up and meeting an officer who you had met prior to that outside who let you into the hotel. And all of a sudden, he grabs his neck and says, "Hey, something stung me." He turns into a zombie. Shenanigans ensue, and you're just immediately thrown into the game. Just the opening part for me was amazing. I was just like, man, what is this game? Now, granted, I do have one complaint about the game. They overdid Grace's voice as far as the stuttering goes. That did get kind of annoying after a little bit. I get it. She's scared. She's terrified. But the whole that got really old really quick. Granted, still love Grace. But just the first part alone, Nathan, what did you think about just the hotel intro?
Just the hotel intro. Nice and spooky vibes for Grace's section. My first time, it's funny, like going through, like having done like the speed run and everything like that, you realize how short that section actually is. And like when you're
Yeah.
going through it, you're like, oh fuck. I'm like, no, it's going through very slowly and just being like, oh god, everything's creepy. Meanwhile, speed run, you're just like, yeah.
Now,
It's great.
granted,
I love
I
it.
I jumped a few times just in the hotel because when you're
Oh
walking
yeah.
up the stairs and the lightning hits, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Well, it's also just like, dude, this is the most like, why haven't we destroyed this building kind of building? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, dude, if you like, especially when you go to like the second floor area, to go to room 204, I'm like, dude, these floors, I'm surprised they're still here. What the
Yeah.
hell's going on?
Yeah. So,
And then, but like for that intro section, also I didn't notice that detail of like the zombie who actually attacks you is the cop that talked to you earlier. I was like,
right.
oh, god damn it, I didn't even notice that until somebody pointed out. I'm like, all right, fine. First section, nice, good Resident Evil 7 kind of levels of like scripted but still terrifying horror here. Then the Leon section where you finally get to let loose, and oh my god, I
Immediately
love
after
it.
the hotel section.
I mean, they give you immediate access to the Requiem, and it's like, oh, dude, this is what I have to
Yeah.
look forward to. Let's go.
So yeah, so immediately after the hotel incident, it throws you right into Leon. So Leon is investigating a murder, or no, not murders, but he's investigating some strange deaths. People have been dying of this. They're calling it Raccoon City syndrome. Then this is where you discover that Leon himself has been infected with whatever this is. And then you find out also that his man in the chair, we'll call him her, Sherry, has also been infected. So Leon's out trying to figure out maybe there might be a cure for this, and that's where they get started out on. But immediately after that, they get a phone call or something. I don't remember how it happens exactly, but Leon ends up going to wherever Grace was at in the city. He gets there and immediately when he sees Victor Gideon, he's carrying Grace out of the hotel. Gideon has this little dart gun and he starts hitting people with the darts. And apparently, those darts contain T virus and they're turning people into zombies. Well, Leon pulls up his big boy pants, whips out his good old hatchet, and just John Wicks pretty much everybody from there until he loses sight of Gideon and Grace.
He's like, damn, I got
Immediately,
so distracted by killing zombies that I lost them.
and like Nathan says, it automatically gives you access to probably the greatest gun in Resident Evil history, the Requiem. Leon's custom made Colt. Well, it's a custom
Fuck you,
made.
gun. It's amazing.
I forgot. It's a custom made 225 Russian. Um, I forgot what it was. Big ass gun. Uh, Requiem is amazing, but then also Leon has a new
Gun, I
thing. Is
love it.
yeah, yeah. Leon has a new technique where he can parry things and
Oh, dude, parrying stuff you shouldn't be able to parry is so
yeah,
funny. I love it.
yeah. So Leon can parry attacks. He can also do some ultimate finishers like he did in Resident Evil 4, but taken up to the John Wick 11 level. Um, so yeah, you're cruising through the city, you're butchering zombies, you go through, you're just Big Daddy Leon just showing those massive packs and just doing Leon things. Loses track of Grace and Gideon, which then in turns into Act Three. So tells Leon that they found out that Gideon owns a piece of property not far from where they're at. Leon then goes to I forgot what it's called, a hospital, and he goes there to look for Grace, and that's where Gideon's at.
It's
Immediately
like some
drops
kind of like intensive care center or something like that.
right. It immediately puts you back into the control of Grace, who is at this point upside down with some kind of a blood drawing device, and she's stressing out. And you break out, and then you start trying to figure out how the hell are you going to get out of here. So now you're in the upper wing of the hospital, and you're like, how do I get out of here? And that's where you meet the first, as we call them, tyrant of the game, the girl, or AKA Emily. Was it Emily?
No,
No, Emily's the other girl.
Marie.
Marie,
Yeah.
aka Marie. You're cruising down the hallway. You're looking how to get out of here. You notice that there's some switches and all. Next thing you know, giant 10-foot deformed monster girl is chasing you down the hallway. Grace then with you, Grace as Grace, you run into the light. The girl is obviously allergic to light. She steps into the light, immediately starts getting burned, and then disappears. And then you go into the second area where you then meet up with Big Daddy Leon. Um, Leon asks Grace then, what does she have to do with this? Why does Gideon want her? She says she doesn't know. Gideon from afar away activates shutter doors to separate the two. Leon then hands him over the Big Daddy Leon gun, the Requiem, to Grace, and then Grace's adventure ensues. And that's kind of where Act Two takes off. Um, but yeah, I liked that Grace is tough because Marie was tossing her ass right before she met Leon. And then obviously Leon came in and dealt dealt the killing hand, allegedly. But yeah, what did you think about Leon and Grace's first interaction, and where were you at mindset wise for that part of the game?
So let's see. I was like scared for Grace. I'm like, okay, so we're just gonna leave her like that. All right, I guess I'm gonna play as Leon for a little bit then.
Yeah,
because it basically ends with like her section ends with like her getting dragged off by Marie, and then like it just cuts to Leon being like, I'm showing up at this hospital and him telling jokes and just being like, oh, I don't remember getting an invitation.
right.
And then zombies show up and he's like, oh, I think I want a second opinion, and I'm like, shut up, bro.
Oh,
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Every time I cherish every time I whispered to myself, Leon, shut up,
dude,
because
yeah, Leon's puns were taken up to 11 as
oh,
well.
it was. I'm not gonna lie. It's like borderline. Like, I mean, it's almost Resident Evil 4 hokey, and I love it for that. And it's so good. So then he does that section, which I definitely was not good at, and at first. My Resident Evil experience has literally been the first two games. This was my first like earnest 3D modern Resident Evil game. Maybe like an hour or so of 7, nothing
Right,
crazy at all. I think in 7 I literally got to the fight with Jack Baker before I played Resi 9. So like in terms of my experience with modern Resi, nope, not a damn thing. Did never even played Resi 4 until after Resi 9. Um so I definitely didn't. I definitely took some time to getting adjusted to that. I was more used to racist sections, if anything. So after that, I'm like, okay, cool. And then like I just peep around the corner. I'm like, oh, nice and convenient. Okay, cool. I'm glad that he showed up and just like hand cannons at Marie in the face, and it's like, all right, I got you, Grace. And then they swap doors, and it's like, really, Leon, you're like, I'm gonna step foot in the darkness now, really?
Leon knew he was so badass that he didn't need the Requiem. He's like,
He's
here, take
no,
this. I
dude,
got
he's just like,
this.
don't worry, I'll figure this out. And then immediately gets knocked out by Victor. So I'm just like, okay, how smart are you now? Now how smart are you now, Leon? To
Yeah.
be fair, it's like I'm glad that like Victor Gideon gets the opportunity to kill both the Grace and Leon, doesn't do it. I'm like, All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just the opening sections of that part, just being in the hospital, you're just like, man, Leon's the fucking goat. And then, but Grace
I mean, like
definitely earned her keep. I mean, she had to deal with the chef, and the chef was crazy.
that one was a fun one.
Yeah, I killed him by
Oh,
accident.
I luckily was able to just. I mean, like to be fair, he only really takes one of the injectors before he dies, so it's not like. I mean, to be fair, like a big boy takes like two of them, I think, but
Yeah,
most of, like the hemetic. I don't know what they're called. Um, but yeah, no, the kill injectors essentially. Yeah, no, I think I snuck up behind him like, all right, we're good. I got his keys. Let's go.
yeah. Um,
No, but oh god, there's a the screaming zombie. I will say, dude, all the zombies in the care center, they have like all of them like having their own weird personalities and like different kinds of
they were
like
unique. Yeah,
the yeah, no, it's like you have the guy who's like turn off the lights, and then
yeah.
the woman in the bathroom who's going back and forth between two stains that she can't get out, and so it's like you got to kind of plan your route if you want to not like get schmooved by her, or and just a bunch of other zombies that they all had their unique characteristics. The guy who really hates sound, so like if you run around him, he's gonna chase after you, and you can use that to kill Big
Oh
Boy, I
yeah.
guess.
I used him to take out a lot of those zombies.
Yeah, I mean
He
to be
came
fair,
in
for
super
some
handy.
reason he hits harder than most of the things in that game. He can one swipe Big Boy. I don't understand that, but no, like Grace's first section, I do think is just genuinely fantastic level design. I love like the you have to basically circle around through every area at least twice to actually like get everything. And
Yeah,
I kind of like that. Granted, like in repeat playthroughs, there's just like a set path you have to go, and there's really no like wiggle. There isn't like super amounts of wiggle room because I heard like some people complain it's just like the actual expression of how you get through the mansion is like kind of limited. I'm like, boo hoo. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah,
Like I don't know. Maybe it's like they don't want you like getting lost in an area where it's like you need to be on the other side of the house.
yeah.
Uh, and it's like
S-
with an ammo economy in this game that kind of like is kind of crazy, especially when you start playing on like harder difficulties. Nah, I appreciate some direction.
Yeah. So then, so moving on. So after the hospital scene, you go through a bunch of shenanigans at the hospital and all that. And Leon and Victor Gideon kind of get on the same term of what they know, what the plot is here. Grace does successfully find a way out of the hospital, only to find that, like all, in fact, all facilities tied to Umbrella, has an underground lab. Um, Grace does stumble into the underground lab after she successfully saves another little girl in the hospital named Emily. Takes her out. They're waiting for the helicopter. Who they find a helicopter pilot out there waiting for them. Not them specifically, but he's waiting because he don't have the keys to his chopper anymore. Uh, so she finds as going into the side of the hospital area, there's an underground facility. She goes down there. Whatever happens, Victor Gideon decides that he's figured out what the main plot of the game is, and he's ready to go back to the source. Now, the source is Raccoon City. So they have to, before this, though, they go down, they meet, after they beat Marie, Grace, and Leon. They then discover that Emily is part of a cycle of people that turn, and Emily unfortunately does turn into a monster, and Leon puts her down. Grace doesn't like this because she wanted to save her, which you definitely felt, but unsuccessfully. Which then Grace had this moment kind of turns on Leon, and this is where you meet the second antagonist of the game, Zeno. Now, those of you who get to this part will recognize who Zeno is almost immediately. Um, from there, Zeno convinces and manipulates Grace into going with him to Raccoon City. to find the source of the plot of the game. Um, Leon then discovers this, and then they go back to Raccoon City. He goes back to Raccoon City, and you know, trying to find access to get to this gate to where you're pretty much assuming where they're at. Once you do all the chores and you get through all there, you go and you get through the gate. It takes you back to Old Memory Lane, and Memory Lane being RPD. Now the RPD section of the game was very short, but man, was it great. Um,
Oh yeah.
you run into your old friend, Mr. X. But there's a couple of other subplots. Now we're not gonna get too spoily because you know we don't want to ruin the game for anybody. But you run into Mr. X, and Mr. X is still an asshole, and you fight him, and you take him out the only way that Leon could. Um, and then after that, you streamline into another underground facility because you know everyone has one. Um, to which at this point, the T virus is really starting to take over Leon to the point where Leon's damn near dead at this point. The T virus has a super grip on him, and he's dying. Uh, the only way to in his hope is to not die is to find whatever this thing that Zeno, Grace, and Gideon are after. Hopefully, might be a cure. Um, but Leon's main focus right now is saving Grace. Um, no pun intended for that terrible show. Um, but yeah. So you go that you go through what's it called, Arc?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go into the underground
It's
facility
yeah.
named Arc, where you run into Grace, and you guys do a bunch of shenanigans and stuff like that. A bunch of things ensue. You meet up. Leon's almost dead, and it comes to the main part of the game. Now, this one really frustrated a lot of people at this part because a lot of people were getting the bad portion of this game. I myself did not. Got it correct the first time. The game pretty much holds your hand as far as knowing how to figure this out at the end, but it comes down to
Did you pay attention to the previous cutscene with Grace,
yeah.
or did you not?
And it comes down to the point where now Xeno wants to release the whole plot of the game, which is called Elpis, which is supposed to be this great big bioweapon, blah blah blah. Now, there gives you the options of whether or not you want to release Elpis or destroy Elpis. Now, depending on like Nathan said, whether or not you paid attention to the previous cutscene, your answer lies in there. Now, a lot of people chose the wrong choice to destroy Elpis. Well, for those of you that did that, we don't salute you because you killed Big Daddy Leon, and we'll never forgive you for that. Um, now the other choice to release Elpis. Now this was the best part. So Elpis is, in itself is not a weapon; it's a cure-all. So it pretty much negates any form of any of the viruses that was created by Spencer and can cure them. Now, Gideon sees this as a win because Gideon's like, well, cool. If we control this, we control the fate of the world because it basically renders all bioweapons useless. Because if they come in and they throw a dart at it, it's cured. Um, Zeno, being a dumbass, goes and injects himself with Elpis and immediately cures himself from all of his powers. Now, at this point, if you haven't figured out who Zeno is, you haven't been paying to the Resident Evil franchise. Uh, so we find out that Zeno is a clone of one of the worst bad guys in there, and I mean worse as in he's a pain in the ass. Albert Wesker. He's a clone of Albert Wesker. Um, he goes and cures himself. Now, if you remember from Resident Evil 5 and all those other ones, Wesker has powers. He's got speed, agility, is basically unkillable. Unless you're punching rocks and throw him in a volcano. Um, So once he realizes that he's been cured, he gets mad at Gideon. Gideon chops his head off. You fight Gideon, who later on you find
That
out
was an
is,
insane scene.
yeah,
That was
who later
insane.
on you find out Gideon, no wonder he was annoying. He was a nemesis the entire time. So you fight the old Nemi, you take him out the only way that Leon can. The game ends. You find out some more plot points, and then it definitely is leading you into Resident Evil 9 is going to be a true banger because it's strongly hinting that two of the best characters in the franchise are going to be working together. Um, but yeah, the game was awesome. I mean, I freaking loved it. The ending was great. Now, granted, there's one controversy of who's married to who. We're not gonna get into that spoiler because you'll figure it out yourself. But yeah, man, overall, Resident Evil 9, like I said, I have to finish Pragmata, but for me, Resident Evil 9 is my game of the year. But what in Resident Evil 9 specifically was like solidified it for you? Like this was your game.
It's crazy because like I didn't really have too much of an inkling to go through any of the Resident Evil games before playing this game. But after having played through it at least 6 times at this point, I can safely say the coolest thing about this game is that it's a sample platter of the entire franchise. There is
Right.
there is something about there is this game takes basically from every Resident Evil game, like whether it be like some specific story beats, like or like just like sit like had the feeling of like the action, like there's literally again Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 references like the Spencer Mansion and the hospital kind of can kind of be almost be like kind of similar in that regard, and also like Oswald Spencer being like a major like character in this game in terms of like the legacy of that. So it's like still dealing with the legacy of the first Resident Evil game here. Again, Resident Evil 2 references, Nemesis references from Resident Evil 3 because I think like he turns into a creature that's very similar to like something I saw in gameplay for Resident Evil 3. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Um,
And
Leon
and
is Leon from Resident Evil 4. That's
just
just
older.
just older, and to be fair, probably a little bit of Resident Evil 6 thrown in there, just
Oh
enough to like
yeah.
kind of flavor it a little bit there. And then the like kind of the first person survival horror segments of like 7, but also like still the high octane action of 8. There
Right.
is it feels like the it, this whole thing being called Requiem, it's a cheeky way of them basically being like, we're just gonna basically call back to the entire franchise but make a whole fun adventure out of it. And some
Right.
people would be like, that's unoriginal. Like, I hate how everything is like, some kind of like self-referential sequel. I don't know what to tell you, but it's the ninth game in the series, and they're like, hey, let's do this now. Like Final Fantasy IX was like kind of one of those things where it was doing the same thing, where it's like we're gonna reference like every other Final Fantasy to cap it off, because once we get into Final Fantasy X, it's a new generation.
Right.
Same thing
Say,
with
and
Resident Evil 9 here.
that is a good point because you just hit the nail on the head on that. So Resident Evil 9 is Resident Evil 9 was necessary. And can you believe there's people that actually don't like this game? They're like, oh, it's too linear and this and that. I've heard it from several people, including
Get
my
that
boss.
complaint, but like every Resident Evil game is more or less linear. Like, come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like
But
every one of them is kind of linear. Like,
yeah, but the thing with this one is it's definitely this game was necessary because it ties up all the loose ends from the first not well the previous 8 games. Now, granted, 7 and 8 really don't have anything to do with the main line per se, other than like Chris shows up in them,
connections.
and yeah, at least that's what I thought. Now, I was wrong about that because Mother Miranda from 8 is heavily referenced in this game, down to the point where you see her picture with all the scientists that developed the E virus or the Evelyn virus. So it definitely this was so the thing with 9 is it's the end of the Umbrella Chronicles. The Umbrella series, the whole Umbrella thing, it's all done, it's over with. Now we're moving into the next phase, which is whoever or whatever the connections is, that's probably going to be the plot going forward now. It was referenced by Zeno and it was referenced by Gideon and a couple other things and just little papers and stuff like that. So the thing
Yeah.
is, Miranda was part of this. So it's getting crazy now. So does Resident Evil
Yeah.
9 or does Resident Evil 10 feature Rose? How far into the future
I would like
is
that. Interesting. I haven't played 8 yet, so I haven't really like I don't know how her DLC went,
Oh, it was
what's
great.
in store for
Yeah.
her in the future,
It
but
her DLC was
I'll
great.
go through 8 at some point soon. I have it downloaded my PS5.
Now
I'm also doing Mega Man. I'm doing a Mega Man marathon right now, actually. So
now
anyway, but
the
that's
catch
the point.
the catch with that though is that Resident Evil 9 takes place in 2026, and and Rose, her DLC takes place in 2036. So Leon and Chris being roughly in their 50s in 9, that puts them out of date for, if they go that route, that would put them way out of date for, I mean, they'd be in their 60. No,
I mean, the way Leon was looking at the end of Resi 9 after he took the shot, he's like, "Oh, I feel 30 again. Let's go."
it'd be 10 years more, I think, roughly around 10 years. So they'd be in
Yeah,
their
but about 10 years, yeah.
70s. Yeah, they'd be in their 70s. So I don't think we're going to see Leon John wicking anybody unless there's a new virus that de-ages you, which, who knows? Um,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe Elpis did that. Who knows?
yeah.
Um, but
I don't know.
yeah, so I mean, who knows? There's tens for Resident Evil 10 could be a whole new generation of characters too. They know this might be it for the long-standing old crew. Um, but yeah, no, the game was definitely this. There definitely ends and the Umbrella Chronicles, and now we're going to whatever is next. But yeah, man,
I really like the writing in this game a lot. Like there's a Sphere Hunter video that she made going through this whole story, and it's kind of actually giving me an appreciation for. Okay, so there's also a channel called Fat Brett that I really like as well. He does a
I
lot
know
of
that.
like lore video.
Yeah,
He does a lot of videos about like like the face of evil or whatever for like different villains and stuff like that.
yeah,
And like he did stuff for like several other videos, and then he did it for one for like Victor Gideon and like also like Grace's story arc. And I'm like, huh, the stories are actually kind of not that bad now these days. Huh, that's crazy. And like, I'm never the kind of person to actually like, be like, is a story good or bad? I'm like, did it entertain me? Eh. And like, sometimes like that's good enough. Like, I'm never gonna be like, bleh. But I'm also the kind of person who is like, Devil May Cry 3 story is significantly deeper and way more uh, provoke and a lot more meaningful than a lot of people will give it credit for. So who's to say that like Resident Evil 9 can't have that? And in one of the Sphere Hunter videos, there's a lot of parallels with specifically Resident Evil 2 remake. Like she played two clips, and there's two examples. It's both with his interactions with Ada Wong, and so it's like as soon as he shows up there, he like sees her. He's just like, oh, hey, who are you? And she's like, FBI. And so like automatically it's like, okay, it's like beforehand it's like, oh, FBI, you can help. That was the old Leon. New Leon, he sees Grace is like, you're FBI. Okay. I've had some mixed feelings about you over the years.
he's like, not this again.
Yeah. But then later in the game when he's when they're in like in the dump kind of area where like they got to find a way out, like and, like get the claw out of the way so Leon can go through the arc section area. uh, after they escape Xeno the first time, and Grace is like, no, I want to end this right now, and no matter what, I want count me in. And
Yeah,
she did like a thematic flashback to when Leon said basically the exact same fucking thing
yeah,
in Resident Evil 2 remake, and I'm like, all right, you got me. That was
and
really good.
that's when
And like you
that
can see it in his face too. You're like,
he
he's
knew,
like,
yeah.
I see. Yeah, he knew. It's like, dude, this is. I'm like, that's some good self-referential stuff right there. It's
And
good.
that's when I fell in love with Grace right then and there. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it was like
And you
she's
notice
got me.
actually, she didn't stutter much. She didn't stutter much when she said that too.
Yeah, yeah. It she had definitely
She stood
rookied up.
firm in that.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go. She still stutters a little bit afterwards, but I'm like, at that point when she's like, no, I'm doing this right now. And so like
Now,
she did that solidly. It was great.
the only thing I didn't like about the endings is I wish they would have kind of incorporated Grace too. I wish it would have been like a final battle with Grace and Leon working together. Now, obviously, Leon
That'd been
took
kind
the
of neat.
limelight, but I would have liked to
Yeah.
have seen Grace's perspective of it. Like Leon gets held up by Gideon or something, and she's like, "Oh, I got you. Hang on 1 second," or them working in tandem. Now that would have been cool. But I mean, obviously, I love the ending regardless. But
Oh yeah.
little critiques here and there. But other than that, the game was
I'm not
perfect.
gonna. I kind of like how stupidly hopeful it was.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm getting really cynical with a lot of entertainment these days, just being essentially just big Debbie Downers the whole goddamn time. But I'm like, dude, that was the most like happiest ending we could have possibly hoped for. It's like not only that, it's like, oh, the girl I shot, she's still alive. It's fine.
And we found out that Leon is also married, but we don't know to who.
Yeah.
And the other thing
No.
that you brought up too is that there was no Ada in this game, so we don't know if Ada's
Yeah.
alive, if she's even. There was no Ada because usually Ada comes to the rescue to Leon, but no Leon or no Ada in this one. The last time we saw Ada, I believe, was Resident Evil 6, and yeah, outcome wasn't too good for her then, from what I remember. But
I'm curious as to like why she wasn't included because like again, this game references Resident Evil 2 a lot. And I mean that in like the it's trying I feel like Capcom in all their wisdom, and that could be wisdom of like they're just winging it. Uh they made Resident Evil 2 with the idea of we're going to basically cap this whole thing off with a game to basically answer to the trauma that Leon dealt with in Resident Evil 2.
I think if they didn't include Ada, she might have a DLC thing coming. Honestly, I don't really need to see Ada. Ada is one of the most. I don't really care for Ada that much. I always thought that she didn't do anything but drag Leon down, anyways. Um, but yeah, I don't care if Ada never shows back up. It's fine.
She was fine. I've played both versions of 4, and I've played the 2 remake, and I played regular 2, so I've basically played 4 of the 5 games she's actually in.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
she's
she is a
fine.
great character, but
No, she's cool, and like I think that he, especially in Resi 2 remake, he's necessary for Leon's like I'm gonna step the fuck up and like actually do my job here and like go like no matter what it takes I'm in. It's like she's part of that regardless, and
I'll be right back. Hang on.
I
Go ahead and take over,
and I
Sean.
think that there's like a level of regret, especially like he carries of like because he kind of didn't know whether or not she passed away or died in Resi 2 remake. I forgot about Resi 2. I forgot. It's been a while since I actually played that game. But in Resi 4, he's just like, oh, hey, what's up? At least in the original one. In the remake, he's more like, I heard you survived. And it was more like, I don't know. Weird relationship. She's always been like a cool character, but never really like the kind of character that I'm super excited to see again. If I see her, cool. If not, whatever. It's meh. I don't know. I kind I kind of just want to see like Rebecca Chambers, bro. Where's the hell she been? I don't know. Like I need to play more of these games, and I think she might be in Revelations. I'm not entirely sure. I could just be talking out my ass there. I don't know. I have so. Hey, cats are fighting. But no, Resi 9 was great. It made me go play 7. Like it made finish 7 afterwards. Hey, cats. My cats are not behaving right now. Sorry. No, dude, Capcom has been absolutely killing it recently. It all started with Biohazard, though. Resi 7, like ever since they released that first trailer in 2016 E3, they've been on a generational run. Slight trip up with the Resi 3 remake, but what are you gonna do? But if anything, it's just more like they made that game of all games an action movie. Meanwhile, they actually did like a Resi 2 proper Resi 2 remake.
Oh,
Anyway,
sorry about that. I had to go grab something.
okay, no worries.
But
So,
yeah,
what do
I
you think
mean,
the DLC is? What do you think the DLC is going to be for the game?
so the rumor is that it's got the rumor. So there's the rumor is that it has something to do heavily with Leon. Um, It could be a prequel to the game itself, meaning it takes place before the game, before 9 itself takes place. So we'll kind of see what he was doing prior to the outbreak in 9. Or it could be that it takes place after 9 and they're trying to figure out who the connections are. And he's, I don't know. Um, I'm leaning more towards it's probably a beginning. It's more like an intro to what he was doing beforehand. Um, could be the origins of how he got the Requiem, and who knows. All I know is I'm looking forward to it. And Mercenaries is supposed to be part of that DLC, but I'm hoping
Ooh,
it.
let's go.
I really am hoping that it's really Leon heavy, or if it. Now, I would like to play as Grace, but only if it takes place after the story of 9, just because obviously she wasn't doing
Get her
anything.
like moderately more combat trained. Like that'd be kind of
Yeah,
a neat little thing. Of just
and
like slightly better combat training. It'd be cool.
the other rumor is that it's DLC that takes place for Grace's mom. So it could be,
That'd be cool. I would love
yeah,
that actually,
it
because
could
I
be
never played Outbreak, so it'd be like cool to reference
yeah, it's
some old Outbreak
the
stuff.
other rumor is that it's heavily involving Alyssa Ashcroft, who was a survivor from Outbreak, and we don't know what she was doing after she did the interview with Spencer and Grace and all that. So obviously she was on the run and she was hiding from people, and she did have some combat training. So who knows?
Yeah.
Um, and if they're doing that, then it could probably lead all the way up to the events in the hotel, and that's probably where it ends. And um, but yeah, so man, we're going a little over an hour now. So that's our opinion on Resident Evil 9, guys. Definitely a 10 out of 10 on my end. Nathan?
Um, it's definitely my game of the year. I have very few problems with this game. Like, I can see the complaints, but like honestly, 9 out of 10 for me.
My
This was a fantastic game,
My only complaint
and I'm
was just Grace's stuttering, but that's it. Literally the only complaint, and that's why it's still a 10 for me.
and it's like okay, I mean like Corkin of voice acting the whole entirety of a video game. Like this
Yeah.
is that's a silly compl Like I don't mean to be like it's kind of like I mean, it's kind of like me being like the yellow paint in Resi 4. It's like, okay,
Right.
I mean, okay, actually, no, to be fair, I'm not gonna lie. Slight side note. I like the Resi 4 remake. I think there are just a couple things that kind of irk me, just like even after just one playthrough. One, it's mostly because it's mostly because it's like I notice it and therefore it kind of just like bothers me that like the garish yellow paint. I'm not really like one of those like oh yellow paint gate or whatever the hell they were doing back in the day when it came out.
Yeah.
It's but like but also at the same time when I look at it I'm like I'm glad we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
um and also dude the merchant can't shut the hell up. I really hate that. As
Yeah.
like the OG merchant, I'm like he spoke exactly when you're supposed to. It's great. Meanwhile, the merchant's just like I can't let a moment of silence pass by without one of us talking, and you're a silent protagonist right now. It's just it's so like that's my major and also the fact it's way too goddamn dark in some instances. I'm like,
Oh
dude,
yeah.
this is an action game. Why do we have horror game lighting? But
Mm-hmm.
that's also just like I feel like a lot of modern stuff is just like, hey, we're just making things really dark for ambiance reasons. I'm like, cool. I miss OG Resi 4 when I can just clearly see everything. Though I will say the boss battles in 4 remake were really good. Like they were, for the most part, better.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
don't know.
that's our
I didn't mind. I didn't mind the lizard in the in 4 in either version. Actually, it wasn't that bad. But anyway,
yeah.
but yeah, nope. That's our opinion.
That's our opinion on the Resident Evil 9 game and some of the four. Obviously we'll talk about the other Resident Evils at a later date and all that. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it for us, guys. We're gonna end it the way that we always do. The what have we been playing lately? Um, so yeah, what have you been playing, Nate?
So aside from Pragmata, I've been playing a little bit of Mega Man. I just finished Mega Man 4.
Nice.
That was fun. I'm
Hell
playing
yeah.
through Mega Man 5 right now, and I'm also like doing a replay of Mega Man 8 on my Switch just for giggles. Because I Mega Man 8's a childhood classic of mine, and you'll never get me to hate it because the game just looks really good.
Was
Like
that
you can be
the the PS1, the anime one?
yeah
Oh,
yeah.
dude, I love
It's
that
like
game.
yeah
Yeah.
the one with the bad voice acting, but I'm like, but the level designs and the gameplay mechanics are actually good. Can we just ignore the bad English dub? God damn!
Mega Man, we gotta
Like I'm
stop.
like, why is this
Mega Man, we gotta stop Dr.
Mega Man?
Wily. Dr.
You
Wily's
must
on the
recover all your
loose.
energy, Mega Man. That's a good Christian. Anyway,
Hell yeah,
but
dude.
also I just picked up the Star Force collection. I'm
Oh,
stupidly stoked
nice.
to play through 3 again. Like the first Star Force game, it's good. I mean, it's Battle Network, but instead of having like a regular kid, he's depressed as shit.
Right.
uh, and Mega Man or Omega Sis in this game, he's way more of like a rambunctious, outgoing. Like he's your friend with ADHD who has constant energy. Meanwhile, you're depressed because your dad's possibly dead. It's like it's a lot. Gameplay's good. 3 though, that was fantastic. I don't remember much of it, but I do remember playing it back when I think it was like 2017, 2018, back when when that cartridge was not $200.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
but 3 was amazing. I put that up there with Battle Network 6. That was in terms of like how much I genuinely enjoyed that. And Battle Network 6 is like my favorite Mega Man game besides like Mega Man X4.
Right.
Like X4's top tier. After that, Battle Network 6 and like Mega Man 03. Like those are like top tier Mega Man games for me. But so I've been going through that, through going through those, and I've downloaded a couple of games just for giggles, like the new Earth Defense Force. I just wanted to play that because it's like, hey, you know what, for funsies, and also see how the new graphics are for that. Why not? And I have several Resident Evil games I'm looking down the barrel of right now because I do want to continue with it, but I just don't know where I want to go next.
Right.
I want to go old school just to get some out of the way, like maybe finish my playthrough of Resident Evil 3, or just maybe start over as a whole because I don't know why I would like partially play through and be like, all right, let's figure it out. Let's figure out where I gotta go now. It sounds silly, but that's kind of what I've been playing. How about you, my friend?
Nice. I mean, same. Pretty much is same with Pragmata. Kind of
Yep.
gingerly going through it. Um, the other game I've been playing and I've been having a blast with is Super Mario RPG. Not
Nice.
the remake. I've been playing the original SNES version. Man, what a great game. Uh, I'm still in the early stages of it, but yeah, I like that it's time attacked. So like if you hit the button at the right time, you can double attack. Your jump,
Yeah.
same thing with your special abilities. Like, if you time them right, you can multi-hit and all that. And yeah, I actually early on got the armor, I guess, for jumping 100 times on an enemy, which was pretty cool. Got that pretty early. Um, my boss actually freaking was the one that told me about it, and I had to take the challenge, and I did it. But yeah, other than that, I've been Pragmata Super Mario RPG, and I've been playing that on my emulator handheld, my Tree Movie Pro, which is freaking awesome. One of our buddies from the shop, Ransom, he helped hook me up with all that, so it's been good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it right now. It's really all the time I've had. I've been playing Smash with the boys here and there, but other than that, yeah, Super Mario RPG and just kind of trailing through Pragmata and yeah, trying to see if it can dethrone Resident Evil 9 as the game of the year. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hell yeah. No, I'm enjoying the hell out of Pragmata, and I'm looking forward to finishing it and going through New Game Plus, and
Oh yeah.
we'll see how I am with the platinum. The game is already kind of difficult, and
Yeah,
I'm on normal.
I don't think it's gonna be a platy for me. I kind of went on a early investigation and started looking at the trophies. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
As much as I would love to, because the game's really good, but goddamn.
Yeah. But that's gonna do it for us here, guys. We appreciate you watching with us. It's so good to be back. I'm glad. Like I said, we're gonna
Right.
definitely try our best to get it to be more consistent. Definitely had the hankering to do it more often, but yeah, kind of life just gets in the way sometimes. But yeah, we're definitely back next week. I don't have anything going on, so yeah, we should be good to go. And then we might
Oh yeah.
have one of the old hosts returning. Um, won't say who it is, but yeah, I'm sure you guys will enjoy having him back. Um, and then yeah, just continuing to try to grow this thing, make it out there. Remember, we're not like the others. We're true gamers. We're not any of those people who are on here and basically doing it for the dollar. Now, eventually, that would be nice to kind of do that, but we're not the corporate shrills like Kind of Funny or any of those other losers that are just doing this for the sake of doing it. We're doing it because we love gaming. We're not any of the people that are kind of like trying to shun people out. Uh, we don't care what denomination or anything like that you are. If you're into two normal guys just having fun and talking about games, this is the place for you. Doesn't matter who or what you are. We welcome everyone, and we're not going to throw you out because your opinion differs from ours, like some of the other big YouTubers do. Um, but yeah, shout out to Last Stand Media and Colin and them guys. They're my inspiration for doing this, and hopefully one day will be as good as they are because those guys are the reason why um, I want to do all this. And then obviously it's great working with my buddy Nathan here, and we met each other working at the same retro gaming shop, and now we're here doing podcasts together, and yeah, it's awesome, guys. I still do also want to do other shows for or a different show for entertainment media too. Still trying to figure that out and how I want to go about it because we were doing that before with Blue and the other gang. But yeah, so hopefully our returning cast member comes in. And until then, guys, I am the Fat Man here at the Fat Man Gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And Nathan, sign us out.
Good night. Get home safe.
Peace, guys.